Welcome, dear students. Today we are going to see the lesson Sultans of Delhi. Okay, history portion it is, and this is the conclusion part also. Topic we are going to see the last two dynasties, the Said dynasty and the Lodi dynasty. Okay, so let us learn about these two dynasties in this last portion of the topic. Okay.
From here we'll see that this Khizr Khan in 1414 he will attack Delhi and he will take the empire. So from here this Sayyid dynasty will start. Khizr Khan will be there, then Mubarak Shah will come, Muhammad Shah, and then Alam Shah. Not very important. These rulers not at all very important, but still we'll see into them so that we have a little knowledge about them. So Khizr Khan is a Taimur nominee. He was ruling Punjab and he captured Delhi. So now he is the founder of the Sayyid dynasty. Okay, after him he is succeeded by Mubarak Shah. Mubarak Shah made many expeditions, tried to expand his empire. Mewati, he attacked Mewatis, Katehars. He tried to expand into Ganga, Doab also, but he was killed by his own nobles because there was no understanding between the nobles and the Mubarak Shah. So the nobles, these Sardars, Afghanis, Turkish, etc. Now they are becoming very, very strong and they killed the ruler Mubarak Shah and they placed their own puppet on the throne, Muhammad Shah. This is a Muhammad Shah too. So this Muhammad Shah is a puppet of nobles. Okay, and now nobles have given him a very, very small area, or you can say Delhi Sultanate was constricted to a very small area of just 40 miles around Delhi. Okay, so this is, you cannot call it Sultanate in any way. It is just that they are dragging this Sultanate ahead. Okay, so just 40 miles, and he is the puppet of the nobles. After him, he succeeded by Alam Shah for a very short time, and there will be a time when Alam Shah will abdicate the throne. He will leave the throne for Behlol Lodi. So Sayyids have left the throne for the Lodis, and from here Lodis will enter into the scene. So now Alam Shah has given the throne to Behlol Lodi, and now for the first time we'll see that the founder of the empire is ruling for such a great time, for such a long time, from 1451 to 1489, almost 40 years. Okay, before that we have seen Balban ruling for 40 years. So let's see Behlol Lodi, B for Balban, B for Behlol. He is the founder, he is Afghan Sardar. So for the first time, Afghanis are tasting the power, they are getting the taste of this Sultanate. So he was Afghan Sardar. Okay, now he captured Jaunpur. Again, we somewhere in the previous chapters we have said something about Jaunpur. John was name of someone very important. Okay, so please comment who is John. Okay, so he captured Jaunpur. Now one more important thing, why he captured Jaunpur. Jaunpur was ruled by Sharqui kingdom. Sharqui kingdom has taken up the Jaunpur from the Sultanate. Okay, it was founded by Malik Sarwar Sharqi in 1393. So he defeated them. Okay, he annexed Jaunpur back into the Sultanate, and we can see that now the Lodi Sultanate or Delhi Sultanate is growing again. Okay. He was succeeded by Sikandar Lodi. Now you can remember like that Sikandar is Alexander, and he is the one who will took two expeditions, who will try to expand his empire just like Alexander. Okay, so he ruled for a quite a long time, 1489 to 1517. He succeeded his father, and his real name is Nizam Khan. Okay, now he annexed Magad, Bihar and Western Bengal. So now we can see that again Sultanate is growing, the power of the Sultanate is increasing again. And one more thing associated with the name of the Sikandar is capital Agra. Okay, now he is the one who built Agra, he beautified Agra, and he shifted capital to Agra in 1506. Okay, so it was not the Mughals who decorated and established this capital, Agra, but it was Sikandar Lodi who is responsible for the beautification of the Agra and building a city over there. Now Sikandar Lodi is actually a fanatic Muslim. Okay, his religious policies are very, very orthodox against Hindus, you can say. He destroyed the temples of Mathura, and he also attacked Jwalamukhi temple at Nagarkot. One more thing associated with the name of Sikandar Lodi is Gaze Sikandari. Gaze Sikandari is actually a unit of measurement used for measuring the land of agricultural lands. Okay. So now we will see what happened in the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, as we have already seen that during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the extent of empire was at the peak, at the zenith. Maximum territorial territory was under him. Okay, but after Muhammad bin Tughlaq, there was a huge loss. This dark color is the rule of the Sayyids. But when Lodi came, especially Sikandar Lodi, he expanded this empire to this much. Okay, but one more important thing to observe over here, that rest of the India is divided into small kingdoms. See, Bengal has become independent, then Sindh has become independent, Rajputs are independent, then Vijayanagar empire is flourishing over here, then Bahmani kingdom is also flourishing, and then it will divide into so many other small kingdoms. Okay, Gondwana is there, Mewar is there, Gujarat is different. So we'll see into these regional kingdoms later. Let's focus into our Lodhis. So then the Sikandar Lodi was succeeded by his own son Ibrahim Lodi, 1517 to 1526. But he is not such a talented, such a smart ruler like his father. He is the last Sultan. Though he subjugated Gwalior, he defeated Rana Sanga. So much thing associated with his name. He defeated Rana Sanga. Okay. Now you need to remember who is Rana Sanga. Okay, we will talk again about him in the coming chapters. Okay, so Ibrahim Lodi kept all his power to himself. He's a very centralized administration. So no power was delegated to the nobles. So nobles were not at all happy with this last Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, and they gave a call to they gave a call to Babur that we will support you. Nobles said that to Babur that we will support you, and please attack this guy. Okay, take the Sultanate from him, because Sultanate belongs now, this empire belongs to you. You are the descendant of Taimur. So Babur should come and take this empire from them. So Babur attacked eventually. There is one more person who will give call to Babur. Okay, we'll see who is that. Okay, so Babur attacked eventually in 1526. There was a fight between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur at Battle of Panipat, and Ibrahim Lodi will lose here. And from here, 1526, this Mughal era will start. But wait a minute. Though now we can say that Mughal era started at 1526, but still there is so much to know. Still Mughals are so much far from us. Okay, before that we have to see so many empires flourishing over there. Okay, so we'll reach Mughal soon, but before that we'll see into these regional kingdoms, we'll see into Europeans.
Causes of decline of Delhi Sultans. Okay, so what are the causes, dear students? Delhi Sultanate saw its decline in the early 16th century itself. Beginning of 16th century started declining. Okay, what happened? Many policies are there. We have to know that which weakened the rule and the rulers. Okay, many policies are there which weakened the rules and the rulers. Okay, see here, lack of rules of succession. There were no fixed rule of succession in the dynasties. Okay, no fixed rules were there. That is what the problem was. There were bitter rivalries. Rivalries means quarrels, fightings, misunderstanding, and struggle for supremacy. Struggle for supremacy means everybody wanted to become the king. Everybody wanted to become the ruler. Okay, among the subordinates. So, and also the sons to gain supremacy due to jealousy. Okay, sons, among some sons they started fighting. Maybe one wanted to become powerful than the other one. So among sons they wanted to take away the what called throne. So this was one of the cause. Power of the nobles. Keep in mind, nobles became very powerful, my dear students, here, because they were taking care of the provinces. Okay, and they're controlling the provinces. So these kings, what happened? Kings were depending on the revenue and survival. Whom? On the nobles. Okay, since nobles are taking care of the provinces, these kings were depending on them. Okay, revenue and survival to manage their families, their society. They were depending on the nobles. So nobles became powerful, and what happened? Gradually these nobles assumed themselves king. After some time, when they became very powerful, they themselves thought that they are kings. Okay, so that is what the they divided small states. Policies of arrogance, you see here. Policies of arrogance, what is this? There were many rulers who were extremely autocratic and harsh on the people. They considered themselves to be God. Okay, they considered themselves to be God. This was major cause of discontentment among the people. Okay, this was the major cause of discontentment among the people. Okay, everyone, they themselves, kings declared themselves as a god, so people felt unhappy with them. Inconsistency of policies, keep in mind. Here what happened, every king thought that according to their own situation they change the rules and policies, and that is what the people became weak and the rulers also became weak. The judicial and administrative system were not smooth and kept varying, kept changing. Okay, judicial system and administrative system also kept changing, so that also one of the point. The imposition of tax on non-Muslims started dividing the society. Imposition means tax were paid by only the non-Muslims, and Muslims were given free from paying the tax. So that also became problem for the society. So thank you, dear students. I hope you understood the topic. Have a good day. Enjoy yourself.